Hello, Conceal Coalition, Austin Davis, and every week I answer your questions. This week's question is very interesting. It is, Austin, what do I tell an intruder who enters our home? Good questions, but here's the situation. Let's try something before we answer this question. Before we deal with talking to somebody in our home, we need to understand a few things. Number one, home security to me is not about what do I say at someone at gunpoint. It's developing a holistic, multi-stage approach. You should have 3 layers of home defense. And these 3 layers are very important before you get to that point about where we're talking to somebody inside our personal space. The first layer is psychological protection. I'm going to say this, and it's one of the rare times I use an absolute statement. All crime, absolute statement. All crime starts as a thought in the criminal's head. So I don't look at you, your house, and say, I want that house, I want those people in the house, or I want that property in the house. So we have to make sure we have a comprehensive plan so there's nothing that attracts them to the property. And remember, your home is the one place you should not only be safe, you should also feel safe. So what I want you to do is understand a concept called CEPTED. We cover that in Conceal Coalition University in the home defense section. The second thing is good physical security. We also cover that in home defense in the Conceal Coalition University. And the third thing is actual protection. So if they pick your house, they break a lot of wood, they splinter a lot of glass, they bend a lot of metal, and they actually get in the home, now we're dealing with that part about what to say to a home intruder. You may decide not to address them at all. Someone coming in with a hockey mask and a chainsaw rushing through your house that you can clearly identify is not supposed to be there, you may just decide to go ahead and use force and stop the threat and give no warning. If you do want to give warning, one of the things that I've got programmed in my head in my sort of pre-done verbal loops is, if I can't identify them yet, one of the things I yell out is, "What's your name? State your name!" Now, if somebody says, "It's your cousin Bill, it's your wife Penny," that tells me an awful lot about what's going on. If they go, Ralph, I don't know a Ralph and no Ralph should be in my house, that tells me an awful lot. If you do make contact with them, make sure you have enough light to not only control the situation blinded, but also to make sure you see whole body, hands, and waistline. Once you control them and you want to give a verbal command, remember, verbal commands come in 3 forms. The first form is freeze. Freeze! Don't move. At that point, I want to make no motion at all. When I say freeze, I need him to stop. The reason I need him to stop is, man, this is going real fast. I need to catch up. I'm kind of behind the curve. Next thing you might say is, if you want to just freeze them, it's pin them. That is, don't move. So when we say that, I don't care if they move their hands. When they froze, we don't want them to move their hands. But this way, I don't want them to come any closer to me, get closer to the gun, get closer to my children. So I'm just trying to pin them in that one spot. But I may also need to give a verbal command to move them. Face away! I want to turn them on around. I want to take their visual horizon away. Then I want to start moving them. Move left, move left, move left. Take your left hand, put it on the door, open the door, leave, come back in, you'll pay a price. Get out of my house. Good, clear verbal commands. Now, one thing you may notice is I didn't use any profanity. Not that I'm occasionally going to drop an F-bomb out there, but here's the deal. One of the things I want to do is make sure I maintain my innocent status, and I don't want to escalate the situation. Yelling out a profanity may do that. I think if it's on a ring or a surveillance camera, profanity looks like we're a little more out of control, and it could harm our ability later on to declare ourselves an innocent victim. But more importantly, when this is going on, I'm jacked up on stress chemicals. The person I'm trying to control is jacked up on stress chemicals and all that. Stop, don't move, I'll shoot you in the pee-pee, you dirty so-and-so. All this is just unnecessary verbiage where I'm just trying to get clear commands that go into his little hypothalamus, which is at that point kind of hijacked in a bad way. So what we want to do is have good, firm, clear voice. Now, how loud do we want to make these voices? Loud enough so they hear it. Not, don't move, I've got you, pace away. Also, jumping at someone and going, freeze, don't move, might jack them up to doing something. Make sure that your response and your tone and tempo is appropriate for what's going on. So what do you say when somebody comes in your house? First thing you should say is, wow, I can't believe somebody's in my house because they picked me when they didn't have anything that drew them to the house. Wow, I can't believe they're in the house because they had to bend a lot of glass, splinter a lot of wood, and bend a lot of metal to get in here. And if they are in here, using verbal commands to affect an outcome, whether that's freeze them, pin them, or move them. But make sure that all these things are practiced beforehand. That's one of the reasons why I want you, as a Concealed Coalition member, to come see me in a virtual tactical academy so I can literally hold you by the hand to take you through your first 3 or 4 gunfights. So when you get there, your brain is not overwhelmed by events. It understands this is weird, but it's not that novel, and I have a place to start with. So please come see me soon at a virtual Tactical Academy event. It's just one of the many ways I love connecting with my Concealed Coalition community. And if all that seems like a lot, just remember this as a baseline. Be a guardian always and a warrior when needed.